Very well. So let's start. First of all, thank you all for coming to this second session on questions and answers in relation to the IRISC open calls. In the next 45 minutes, we're going to try to go quickly through IRISC and the open access calls that IRISC offers. And after that, we will go deep into your questions. You have probably noticed that we are recording. We're going to be just recording the very first part, the introductory part, and this is just for dissemination purposes. But when it comes to the questions, we are going to stop recording so that you don't feel shy to ask us whatever you need to ask about the open calls. If we move further in today's session, we will discuss these 5 topics. The first one is going to be introduced by our colleague Päivi Haapanala. She's going to explain us what is IRISC and what is the catalog of services of IRISC. And then we will have our colleagues Rosa Maria Petracca and Lisa Eder-Murberg on how to access research infrastructure services and also how the IRISC application process and the access management works. And after that, I will just tell you why we do think that applying to this open access could be beneficial for you. And once this is done, we will stop the record and we will go to your questions. So without further ado, I'm going to give the floor to Päivi. And Päivi, whenever you want.
Yes, thank you. Welcome on also from my side. I'm Päivi Haapanala. I work at the Natural Resources Institute Finland, who is coordinating this project, and I'm acting as a project manager for this IRISC project. And in the following slides, you can put the next one, I'm shortly going to say a few words about the project itself and kind of the focus of IRISC, and then I will let Rosa to continue on the practicalities related to applying for the services that we are offering. So this IRISC is a EU-funded project called Integrated Research Infrastructure Services for Climate Change Risks. We have a large consortium providing the services for you, and they cover different fields like environmental and health, social sciences, and e-infrastructures. This project was started a year ago, and there is still little over 3 years this project is running. And next slide, thank you. As I said, the focus of this project is on a climate change-driven risks, and also the services that we are offering for you are related to these risks. And with a risk, we mean that it is composed of hazard. It can be a slow onset process or extreme event that is due to changing climate. And then there's an exposure and a vulnerability. So in your applications, this risk is something to consider, like how is your project falling into this climate risk field. And this is just a showcase of the amount of services that we are offering, that they cover different kind of fields, also like natural ecosystems, but also societal aspects and others. And here is the different risk combinations that our services offer, just as an example. And in the next slide, there's an illustration of that the services are all around Europe. So they are not just offered in one country or by one institution, but they have a large coverage also geographically from different locations. You can put the next slide. And these services are offered by different research infrastructures. We have totally 14 research infrastructures involved in this project. Rosa will tell you more about what are these research infrastructures, but in general, EU level or national research infrastructures. They offer physical and remote access to over 18 facilities all around Europe, and there's also virtual services. But you will hear more about those in the upcoming slides. But this as a short introduction of IRISCC, and where you can find these services is our service catalog. And there you can explore what we offer. And hopefully you have visited already our catalog. And yes, the catalog currently provides services that are already, or include services that are already available or provided by participating research infrastructures. But this is just to let you know that in future there will be more services that are more targeted to these climate risks and are created together with users and stakeholders. So stay tuned for upcoming services in upcoming years. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Päivi. Now it's the turn for Rosa. Rosa, whenever you're ready.
Yes. Thank you, Päivi, and thank you, Benja. Okay, so I really briefly take him from here to first to give you the details on what is now being offered to you under the TA and vehicles that are currently open and will be open during the course of the project. So we said access, but access to what? It's access that is offered under the project includes the use of research infrastructures, and these are facilities, observatories, platforms, installations, laboratories that provide resources and services for you user to conduct excellent science and to foster innovation in various fields. And access is exactly how these research infrastructures and with their resources and services that are made available to you are actually used by the users. And access, you see here a very formal definition, but it's the admission of users to a research infrastructure, and this includes any kind of interaction with the infrastructure for the use of the resources and the services offered by the research infrastructures. And in next slide, you see the different type of access. So how this use can be really done in concrete by the user visiting a facility. There are three main types of access: physical access, remote access, and virtual access. And physical access is actually when the user or the researcher goes on site to the facility to use the resources and receive the services he requested. Then there is remote access, which is service provision and use of the resources and the services by the user, but without his presence on site. So the user can stay at his location and receive the benefits from the services and the resources that he uses remotely. Then there is this virtual access, which is wide and free access mainly and mostly to data services through communication networks. And this is totally virtual, and this is related to resources that are such as data and other digital services that are or virtually unlimited capability of for the provider, meaning that a very large number of users can access the resource and the data and use them at the same time, which is not the case for the physical and remote access, because here resources and services involved cannot be actually used by many users at the same time, and also here resources to be accessed are really available in a limited capacity at the facility. So a process needs to be in place to grant access to these resources and services, and this is what we call transnational access. But mostly also I have to tell you that there are any possible combinations of virtual, remote, and physical access. And this is what we call hybrid access. And here I only highlighted hybrid access as a combination of physical and remote, because this also requires a process for the user to be admitted to the use of these resources, while virtual access is always possible. So it can be always combined with the previous types of access. And with just more two-click vignette is just to highlight the difference that we see in the EU-funded projects. This type of access are commonly referred to as transnational access, and of course, virtual access is the virtual access spent in the calls and in the project, the EU-funded project. The main difference, as I said, is that here we need a process, while for the virtual access it's totally free, totally open, and the user can have access whenever he wants. And in the next slide, yeah, you see here the process, which has been designed to manage the application of the user, the request of the user to access a specific service or resource, and which is in a limited capacity at the facility. So we need to select in a way the user. And you see here the main steps of the process. So everything starts with the user request submitted. Then this request is first screened for eligibility based on the conditions there are in the EU-funded projects. But then after the eligibility check is okay, then the request is sent to the providers for the confirmation of the feasibility, because the provider needs to say, okay, I can provide this service in the terms that the user are requesting, and also in the same time frame the user has asked to receive the service. And I have enough resources to do so. So after and upon receiving the green light from the provider at the facility or the installation, then the request is evaluated in the merit, because being the resources limited, maybe not all the users can and will be allowed to access the resource. So each request will undergo an evaluation from a panel of experts in the fields covered by the proposal, and then based on the results of the evaluation, the request is accommodated by the provider, or in the worst case, but we really don't expect many, and we really do not hope that it will happen a lot, rejected. You see here, scanning the QR code here, you can see a short, very nice video illustrating all these steps, possibly better than I did. But in the next slide, you see also some more details of the kind of support which is offered to the users that have received their approval for their request. So first of all, they get sponsored access to the services, meaning that the use of the services and the resources is for free for the user, but the cost is sponsored by the project. And access include all the scientific support of the resources, and the human resources at the facility and at the installation can provide to the user to conduct the research presented in the request. The technological support, of course, advanced tools and equipment are available to the user for his research. The logistical support, also for the user to organize his visit at the facility, but also in managing the activities and the assistance at the facilities. Also, some limited travel and subsistence support is available for the users in case, of course, they need to physically be at the facility to receive the provision of the service. And also, finally, it's the international access, meaning that this is not only for open for European users, but also international users can apply and have limited access to the resources available. But now going into the detail on how it is possible to apply. We have the transnational virtual access is organized around a series of calls under which the user can apply and place their request for a service. So now we have the first call, which is currently open and will close at the end of June. And this and you see here also, in case you don't manage to prepare the proposal in time for the 3rd of June, there will be plenty of other opportunities, because there are really, the calls are designed to be one after the other, to always allow the possibility to the users to apply. But what they have to do is that in the proposal, they have to address one of the determinants of the climate change induced risks tackled by the project. They need to prepare a proposal which should be of high scientific quality, value, and impact. And it also should allow as much as possible multi, inter, and transdisciplinary research. So as I said, the first call will close in June, but the second will open right after that summer, so in September. So stay tuned for these opportunities that will come in the next months. But how to accept, really place the request for access. You should browse on our catalog of services, which Palvi illustrated before. And browsing on the catalogs, you will be allowed to see all the resources and the services that are actually there for you. And once selecting one, identifying the service or the resource or the installation that you want to visit to carry out a part of your research there, then you just have to click on, you see here the button, blue button, submit my project. And this guides you to the another page in the IRISCC website, which is dedicated to accessing the VA portal in case you just want to have virtual access to data and available digital services, or in case you want physical or remote access to the facilities and the research, the resources, then you just need to click on the PASS portal here. And I think in 2 more clicks, it's a bit, explain that. Of course, again, accessing virtual access portal, there is no user selection, no calls. It's always open and available there, while it is possible to access the services also only under a specific call when a specific call is open, and clicking on here and submitting a proposal. So there is for transnational access, there is a user selection, and it happens under the dedicated calls. I will now focus on the TA process. And so you see here that clicking on the PASS portal, it directs you to the this TA process management tools, and which lists all the possibility and all the open calls. And clicking on more, as you see here, it opens the page on the for the specific call, with a description of the call and the link to the application form. So with all the fields that you have to provide information to allow the providers to understand your project, and then the reviewers to evaluate it. Again, here, scanning the QR code, you see the a bit, yes, on a second more on this slide, because if you can scan here the QR code, you also see a nice video that guides you through the entire application form and all the you have to do to submit. Once completed the information provision in the form, then click on submit, and we will collect your application and then process. As you see in the next slide, this is how we manage the access process that I showed you before, and you see here how this is translated into tasks in this tool we use for TA process management. Finally, in next slide, you also see how practically your application will be reviewed. So you see here in PASS, we will have your application always available for consultation, and then in the right hand of our system, we will have the different evaluation form. So this is for eligibility, for feasibility, and finally for the merit review of your application. So there is a scoring system, and based on the scores total by your you will be granted access or not. And with this, I think I have finished my part, but I'm here for your questions.
Thank you very much, Rosa. About the IRIS Virtual Access Portal, I don't know if we have someone from the team who would like to jump in and explain a bit more. It's probably all right with the quick introduction that Rosa gave. We're actually a bit tight on time, so I think that we can move forward. If there are questions about the virtual access portal, we can take them later on. But the last thing, why do we think, after all this introduction, that applying for access through IRISC, it's probably a good thing that you should consider? Well, IRISC calls fall within the European Union funded TA and VA programs, and as it's written in here, we do think that it's a very nice opportunity for you as a researcher to access our resources and services for free. It can help you conduct excellent science in top-notch European facilities. Also, we do think that it can contribute to the interdisciplinarity in research, and it can promote networking and strengthen collaboration between different teams. And last but not least, we do think it's a very good opportunity to expand your knowledge and skills on climate change related risks. So we are gonna now jump into the questions. We are gonna leave some of the frequently asked questions in here. Maybe some of them are the ones you wanted to ask, but at this point, I think we are good to stop the recording, and we can right now take any of the questions that you might have. Let me stop the recording.